fly starts to set in, infesting at the roots, start from the roots up, and therefore they just die off. The roots get munched by green fly and other funguses, and then they die because once the plant itself ceases to grow, then the soil becomes too moist in the pot, and that is a playground for all variants of fungi, which helps kill off your potted plants. They would die anyway come the autumn. It's part of the dying process, if you will. I'm just trying to slow down by this end of this pot haven't quite died off. They have all died, but I'm trying to rescue the ones this end. I've got one left there to dig out. I'm currently in the middle of trying to cure the one which was sat here, right? I've got this one yet to dig out and do. I'll show you now what I'm doing with the one I've dug out. They're equivalent of our COVID, if you will, so that's why you're seeing it in the Chronicles, okay? So I thought it'd be a great little inclusion. So this one was actually the one in the part of the earth I was pointing at, yeah? This is the one I had said I had pulled out, yeah? Right, I've dug it out by its root, I've retained the root, otherwise you lose it altogether. Then if it becomes separate from its root, that's it. Really, generally, there's nothing you can do for them. So I've got to be really careful. This was covered in green fly, but it's still alive, it's still growing, right? It still has a fertile flower, right? It's still growing, right? It's probably got another few weeks if I'm lucky. I can't just sit by and watch the two left in that pot die right in front of me, now that I'm aware of what's going on. This is all still new to me. This is the very first year I've been successful with potting plants, bedding out potting plants, some old type ones, yeah? So it's all still new to me. So what I've done is I've been working on this for a quarter of an hour. I've been filling that casserole bowl with water from the watering can, and I've been submerging that in the water and rinsing it off with my bare fingers, yeah. Rinsing all the green fly, running all the green fly off my fingers, yeah. And then splooshing this, emptying that out down there so it runs out, yeah, down the garden, yeah. And I've been repeating that a few times, and I've basically got most of it off. Gotta be careful that you don't still leave some on, especially around the stem of the root there, where it starts hitting the earth, where the plant starts going into the root. That's where it's sort of like, it's the most sensitive area. It's where they attack most. The fungus attacks mostly there, and then it goes down into the root. And if any type of fungus go up the plant, then so be it. But the damage is done there, and the stem tends to break off when it's still in the pot. That'll just break off and decay, and it'll dismantle from its root and just wither in the pot, and the root will be eaten by the fungus, yeah? So I'm trying to prevent that from happening. Try and get it all off, mainly from there, otherwise you're going to stand no chance curing it. So I'm going to give this another few more rinses, just to let you see what I'm doing during this period of lockdown. I thought, yeah, I'm trying to rescue these little suckers from their fatals. Wish me luck. Go in the chemist with a mask, right? Yeah, a mask. Right. Dare me to go into the chemist wearing this, look. It's a proper ghost face one I found in a junk shop for Halloween night about 3 Halloweens ago. Found it right the other day when I was just fucking around at home, yeah. Right, it's actually, for argument's sake, it's actually ideal because, right, the nose on it and the mouth haven't got any holes in them. Right, I'll show you close up when you get home. Not now, because I'm only about 2 minutes away from the chemist. It's only the eye parts of the ghost face. It's only the eyes which have mesh in, so you can see out. Well, it's, you know, for safety's sake, if you're out and wearing it, you need to be able to see, don't you? But the nose and the mouth area, only place with any kind of transparency on ghost face mask is the eyes. I've just woke up the morning after going to an Indian restaurant here in New Brighton, along Brighton Street towards New Brighton End. I won't name the actual restaurant in case I have any haters who want to put the boot in, because not everyone agrees with people having the choice of face coverage, whether or not to wear face coverage. The fact that this restaurant were simply you sign in and you progress your evening as if COVID wasn't even happening. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic experience. Just waking up now, 9 hours later, I haven't even took a sip on my morning coffee. After a fantastic experience, being somewhere where I could get away from everything, all the pressures of this horrible, this nightmarish time I am living in. I am currently experiencing this period of this nationwide, this worldwide thing. See how my mouth is still patched. It is your choice whether you wear a mask or not. There are still places on this earth that you are welcomed as a human being, which is just to go out with your mates and have a good time and just forget about everything. It's the evening of the 6th of November. It's just about 9:15 of the night time. I've been forced out my home again. Now it's all to do with this lockdown business, with all the pubs now even closed. Even all the pubs are, even the pubs which serve food. Everywhere, 100% is locked down now here. Where I live on Merseyside now. This one I'm going to say now is, I've already said in the previous episode of the Chronicles series. I've already said this before about this kind of what I'm going to say happened in my life during this lockdown, which makes me have to leave my own home, which is completely beyond my control. I have absolutely no say about it. I simply have to leave my home. I've asked before if you can relate to what I'm saying during this Chronicles series, to do so in the comments below, if for no other reason to spare on discussion. I live in a converted house. 3 of us live in a conversion job. I own the ground floor and I've got 2 gents above me. Both of the other 2 gents are able-bodied gents. You know, they're not physically disabled in any way. As far as I'm aware, they're not mentally disabled, yeah. Now, like before, like I've said in an earlier episode, I've had to leave my home for no reason. I've got no choice in it, no say in it. Again, I've had to leave my own home. I have to. Peak time of week when you think people would be at most happiest, yeah. There's not a single noise coming from either of them. Now we're talking TV even. Transistor radio, you don't even hear, there's not even a sound of a transistor radio, say, in their bathroom. Now each room is directly above each of our rooms. You know, our bathrooms are directly above each of our bathrooms. The living rooms are stacked on top of the living rooms, right? The bedrooms are right above each of our bedrooms. There are communal areas. We do still have a key to our main area where we live in, our own living room, our own bedroom, right? They're self-contained apartments, right, in a communal house. So it's gospel what I'm saying. There's no crockery noises, there's no clanking of dishes, there's no sound of cups of coffee being made. In the hour which I've been in my flat, level where I live, while I'm stirring up a bolognese, right, in my kitchen, there's not a single noise coming from me, no activity, no footsteps. They must be leaning against the wall, taking their weight through the arms into the wall. so avoid weight going through their feet. I've had to leave my home. Freaks me out no end. Point where I've had no choice. My subconscious has decided for me to leave my home. I've got to go. But the car's going to run out. Comment below, please. Can you relate to it? It's frightening, man. Frightening. He did it. He allowed me to sit down. Right. I threw them. Completely threw them. Right. I completely threw them. Right. Completely and utterly threw them. Right. She didn't know what to do. She came round the side and the back after the chemist who sends his coven out to do all his hard work. Right. Yeah. She was coming round to serve me, and she obviously had in her head to say, right, Warren, out the door. But she stopped and she stuttered. And she didn't know what to do. She went from left to right. And she didn't know what to do. And I did put my two fingers up, go, like that, the peace sign. And I went, hello, Warren here, as if I would anyway. Right, like I said I was going to, right. And then she turned around, right. And then she went back, right, to the dude whose name's on the door, right. And then I proceeded to sit down, like I said I was going to, as if it was all pre-COVID, right? I proceeded then to sit down in the chair, like I said I was going to, right? And there seemed to be just like the two of them in, him and her. The dude whose name's on the door and her, right? And my blood and my water said to me that they were probably going to let me get away with the handkerchief. Right, because there was just the two of them in. Right, because it does depend on who's in there as to how discriminative they are with me. It is personal discrimination because the handkerchief is full coverage of the nose and the mouth anyway. But, hang on, I'll take this off. Hang on. She's just like... I heard whispers going on when I sat down, right? I heard little Chinese whispers going on in the background. And as I sat down, I caught my leg over the other. I thought, should I take it off? Should I remove it? But then, if I did, that would be defeating the object of doing it, wouldn't it? So I kept it on, and I just sat there, right, totally in character, pre-COVID character, right. I had to forget that I was wearing it, right. The ghost face had to completely forget. And the fact that there were hardly anyone there, hardly any staff members there, it worked in my favour because I thought, well, the joke's going to carry here. It could carry here. If the two members of staff currently in are okay with the joke, then it may well carry here. So I kept it on. I kept the mask on, and I went into character as if it was pre-COVID. My mannerisms remained the same as if pre-COVID mannerisms. I just behaved in a modest fashion and, looked down occasionally and held my hand on my knee and, my body language didn't appear threatening, all pre-COVID body language, etc., etc. And so to speak, I pulled it off, it worked, I pulled it off, so to speak. Horrible circumstances where one has to go into the chemist in character just to be able to do something one did anyway pre-COVID, and the fact that I am having to do something to make up for something which is perfectly plausible, aka the perfect coverage of a handkerchief. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. 150 years ago, everyone walking the planet had handkerchiefs in their top breast pocket and would hold them to their face whilst walking the streets of Britain when they felt the need to cover up a stench, for example, or in times of plague or disease. Everyone did. I am defending something which does provide adequate coverage. I can use a handkerchief as it's supposed to be used. It isn't my problem that perhaps not many people can. So therefore they're making everyone wear this one standard type of mask. The fact is, I can use the handkerchief effectively. So why can't I? Why can't I? And my chemists have not given me that chance to express what I've just said there to them. They've not given me that opportunity. The minute they saw me use my handkerchief, they started to raise their voices and scowl and exclaim at me. The very second they saw me use it for the first time, they did not give me the opportunity to say, to express myself. They didn't give me the opportunity to do that. Fucking stupid, senseless. All this is just absolutely ridiculous. Sense. I will leave it for you, the viewer, to form your opinions. On with the show. Just a little, but it will help. Once you get your dilute, yeah. Dilute it down, yeah. Right down. Tiny bit, just tiny bit, not too much, but enough, because that will have an effect. Get a nice, strong, get a quality, one of the quality disinfectants, the type you dilute down, yeah. Chuck in your water. Right, now I'm going to put this in now, and I'm going to gently see, I've sat it in the water there. Preferably choose a non-windy day. The wind, I tell you, crikey. Oh, it's not something, it's always something in it. Something else, isn't it? So fragile, this job. So fragile and delicate. There's always something in it, always something. Just like that. Sluice the water over there to help the disinfectant work. And I'll massage it through in a minute with my fingers. Share your thoughts on what I'm doing, please. Let me know. There you go. Isn't it? I'd know if this plant was individual. I'd know if this individual plant was beet, because it would come away now from the root. It would just wither off into the water. The plant would just wither into the water. There would be that much rot. It would just wither into the water. It would detach now itself from the root, just simply by the pressure of the water. Hopefully this one and the next one. Hopefully this and the next. See, it looks healthy enough, doesn't it? See, and the other one looks this healthy as well. Another night or two, it wouldn't have been worth rescuing. The rate of deterioration. Look. See there. That's what it looks like if you don't rescue them in time. See. Now let me do that. See. That's what they look like if I hadn't have rescued it in time. Now see, comparably, this is the other one I'm going to rescue. This one here. See, it still looks healthy, doesn't it? See, it looks comparably healthy, doesn't it? That's how the one I'm currently rescuing looked as well, which was sat there. See, comparatively, that and that one looked great to them there. See, I'm noticing folk wearing masks when there's nobody else around. Here in Egremont, I'll give two examples. First one is a school kid, must have been about 15 years old, the youngest 14. He was standing in like an open shopping precinct, but it was like a residential shopping precinct, so to speak. It was on the corner of a residential area, so it is a place where one could be on one's own for a period of time, get me, without the crisscrossing of people. There are certain times when that particular plaza area would be quiet and potentially free of people, right? Because it wasn't like, it's not a main shopping area, a main shopping precinct area where one would expect people to be there all the time, get me? No. So this is why I know from when I saw this lad from afar, he was on his own, right? And he was looking down, I'll tell you what he was doing, he was looking down at his phone, just doing his phone with his one hand, as we all do, tarting around with our phone, looking down, as if that's all that matters in the world, right? He was stood there in an open space, in said open space. He wasn't with a fellow school friend or anything. He was simply on his own, as if the rest of the world didn't matter. But it obviously did, because he was wearing one of those standard light blue surgical, which hook onto the ears masks, yeah? God knows how long he would have been there on his own for, right? He was wearing one of those standardised surgical masks, hooked around the ears, one of these, pale blue surgical masks. Yeah? God knows how long he'd been there for prior to me approaching him. Could have been there for 2 minutes. It took me a few minutes to approach him, so he was there for at least 2 minutes, wasn't he then? So we've got 14-year-olds, right? 14-year-olds wearing surgical masks, verbatim, as if a part of clothing one would wear, verbatim clothing, like a pair of underwear, a t-shirt, a pair of trousers, a pair of shoes, surgical masks. I'm noticing that here in Egmont. Example 1 is that lad, school kid there, okay? I'm going to try and stay as unbiased as possible, right? I'm just going to by just giving the 2 examples. Isn't this wild? And another example is a guy who's must be about 32. I've noticed. Example 2, guy who must be fella about 32 years old, between 28 and 32, let's say, on a bicycle, on a road, riding his bicycle on the road. He was actually on the road. He wasn't on the pavement with it. It was actually at quite a speed. He must have been going about 25, 30 miles an hour. It wasn't like a residential road, i.e. with houses either side, and it wasn't a main road either. It was a road like in between the two, yeah? Say, connecting the two, yeah? It was a long road, so when I noticed him, he would have been, again, like the school lad. It took me a while to approach him. I was walking toward him as he was coming down, right, to pass me. And I see it was a long road I was walking on, and I know the road, but still, he could have just turned onto that. He could have come onto that road from anywhere, but it took me about, say, a minute. I noticed him in the distance, and as I approached him, as he approached me, all that process, and for him to pass me took about a minute. The speed he was going, he looked like, and the dress he was wearing, I could tell by, say, the speed and his context. I could tell he was on at least a 3-4 minute bike ride, yeah, at least. And he was on his own. He was bicyclist on his own, and he was wearing a facial coverage. It wasn't one of those standardised pale blue surgical masks like that school kid was wearing. It was something you'd order off. It was something you'd spend a few quid on online. Yeah, something you'd order online. Yeah, he was wearing that. He was wearing that. Yeah. He himself didn't look like anything out the ordinary. But just looked like an average, let's say, not normal. He looked like an average 28 to 32, something like that, year old fella, lad, however you want to class it. Just looked like he was just on a bike. His bicycle didn't look anything other than normal, ordinary, let's say. And to look at him, he just looked like he would have looked as if he didn't have one on. And the school kid, as he was there on his mobile, tossing around his mobile. He looked like as if you could remove mask and he would have been doing the same thing. Yeah, so they were both wearing facial coordination verbatim. Okay, that's what I'm noticing now in Egremont. Yeah. Look how outrageous that is. That isn't my problem. I know how to use a handkerchief.